Welcome to Fireside Giants. My name is Alex, my co-host here, Anthony Rivardo. And today, Patrick Mahomes helping these Giants quarterbacks learn the Chiefs' offensive system. I never thought this was something we were going to be talking about, but it seems like Patrick Mahomes has actually been FaceTiming with some of the Giants quarterbacks and helping, learn some of those KC concepts. Of course, Mike Kafka, formerly with the Chiefs, coming over to the Giants, first-year offensive coordinator, taking the leap to the next step, and really hoping to transform this Giants offense into a competent unit. And we've seen a lot of struggles over the last couple seasons, but if there's anyone to steal offensive plays or steal offensive coaches from, it's the Bills and it's the Chiefs. So I think we got ourselves a good one in Mike Kafka, but learning that system is easier said than done. It's very intricate, a lot of concepts to be kind of digested, and what better way to get them straight from the source, from Patrick Mahomes. So we're going to discuss, how that kind of has evolved, where that came from, and how Patrick Mahomes is kind of helping them get used to this new idea, this new strategy. Anthony, before we do, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great, and what I really love from this is that the Giants are really taking the learn from the best approach, really this whole offseason. You kind of take a look at what they built on the offensive staff, the coaching staff. They got Brian Dable, who's coached a top 5 offense in the NFL each of the last 2 seasons. And then you have Mike Kafka, who's also been involved with the top 5 offense in each of the last 2 seasons. In fact, those 2 teams were number 1 and number 2, respectively, in 2020. So these are 2 of the best offensive minds in football, taking a major leap in both departments, one from OC to HC, one from QB coach to OC. Big leaps for these guys, but all of the players are now learning from some of the best offensive minds, some of the best coaches, learn from the best, and they're taking it a step further because not only are they learning from the best coaches around to teach the offenses, but now Patrick Mahomes is inserting himself into the mix, so they're learning from the best quarterback in the NFL, really taking that learn from the best approach, and hopefully just all of that knowledge and wisdom will rub off on these players, and it'll get them playing at a higher level and hopefully exceeding all expectations and having stellar years.
I don't know about stellar years, but we can hope to get to at least average, right? I mean, this offense, as you've known, if you're a Giants fan, you've been watching legitimate incompetency on the football field on a weekly basis over the last 3 seasons, right? Even Pat Shermer's offense, I remember us, clamoring on that Pat Shermer's offense was predictable. It was obvious. We knew it was coming. It wasn't as explosive as it needed to be. And then Jason Garrett was hired, and he put incompetence into a category of its own. He somehow managed to devise ways to shorten the field, or rather, I guess, take portions of the field away from Daniel Jones, right? For a young quarterback, you want to help them get the ball into their playmakers' hands, stretch the field, make it look huge, so that way there's more space to work with. Instead, Jason Garrett would roll him out to the right, condense the field into about a 10-yard circle, and then have all the receivers run into that 10-yard circle and hope for the best. That is called malpractice. Now, the Giants have hopefully gotten rid of that word from their vocabulary, and Patrick Mahomes is a good way to outsource and bring in some, let's say, elite knowledge to a group that desperately needed it. Now, Davis Webb, and this is from ESPN, Jordan Raanan, I think he interviewed Davis Webb, and Davis Webb told him that they've actually been FaceTiming with Patrick Mahomes to learn the KC model, right? That's interesting. Even Brian Dable has gone involved. Daniel Jones, Kafka, they've all been there trying to figure out how to better transfer this offensive system over to the Giants, Anthony. Now, what do you think is so difficult for them to understand in terms of why do they need Patrick Mahomes' insight? And why do you think Patrick Mahomes is so easily giving it up, right? Like, I feel like that's the secret sauce. Like, the secret ingredients are over there. I guess Mike Kafka's bringing it over, so it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, like, you probably, I guess it's kind of a weird conflict of interest here for Patrick Mahomes to be FaceTiming into the Giants quarterback room and helping them. Where do you think that comes from? Maybe he's just doing a favor. Maybe it's just base concept stuff, just kind of verbiage that they want to get used to. What do you think? Because I don't really know like why the reasoning behind it would be.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of thoughts when you take a look at Patrick Mahomes, right? And obviously the Chiefs play in the AFC and the Giants play in the NFC. So conflict of interest, not entirely. The only way that these 2 teams are meeting is if they're playing each other in the Super Bowl. And I think Patrick Mahomes knows he's not meeting the New York Giants in the Super Bowl in 2023. So kind of taking a look at that, it's really a situation where you have a superstar helping out the little guy, and he's kind of just giving back is how I look at it. Because if you take a look at Patrick Mahomes' quotes about Mike Kafka and all the things that he said about Mike Kafka, he's said repeatedly he's not the quarterback that he is today if not for Mike Kafka and the help that he gave him during his career in Kansas City. So it's really, to me, seems like he feels like he owes a little bit of something to Mike Kafka. He owes him a bit of a favor, and he appreciates Mike Kafka. He's grateful for all the work that he and Kafka did together. So he just wants to give back. That's how I'm kind of looking at this. I think Patrick Mahomes is just giving back to Mike Kafka. The more successful the Giants offense is with Mike Kafka as OC, the more likely Mike Kafka is to one day become a head coach. And that's only better for obviously Mike Kafka's career and better for Patrick Mahomes because him and Kafka are friends and he loves Mike Kafka. So it really just seems like he's doing everything that he can to help Mike Kafka be successful. I don't think Patrick Mahomes really gives a crap if Daniel Jones is super successful or Davis Webb or Tyrod Taylor. I don't know if he really cares to see those guys reach a pinnacle of success. But for Mike Kafka, I think he cares. I think he cares to see Mike Kafka be a very successful coach in this league, and he's going to do everything that he can. He doesn't have to do this stuff, but there's small favors. It's not like he's going way out of his way or taking so much time out of his day that he's just, hurting the Chiefs in the process. But whatever he can do to help Mike Kafka reach a level of success, I think Patrick Mahomes is willing to do it, and he's going to do these favors. And also, Patrick Mahomes is just a great guy. That's very evident in everything that he does. We all know he is a phenomenal human being, and it's just shining through at all times. So I think the main key here is that the connection between him and Kafka is for real. He loves Kafka, and he's shown so much appreciation to him in the past during these quotes that he's given. So I think that's the main takeaway for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, Patrick Mahomes seems like a great guy. His brother, kind of not, kind of a dick, but hopefully that side of the equation remains, great and helping some of these guys. Like you said, there's not really a conflict of interest based on the fact that the Giants are a completely different division, not really competing right now. The Giants are years away from becoming, even close to what the Chiefs are right now. But I will throw this into the mix. It seems to me that the Giants have been building up with the personnel that they've acquired a similar strategy on offense to what the Chiefs have done in the past, right? As I mentioned in yesterday's episode, Daniel Jones only threw 49 passes behind the line of scrimmage last year. Patrick Mahomes threw, I think, 160, 170 almost. That is an unbelievable difference. And they have this West Coast style offense that they really like to operate in the short 0 to 10 yard portions of the field so they can open up the deeper route concepts, right? When you have guys like Tyreek Hill, even Travis Kelce on some of those little flip passes, Mecole Hardman, they do like to get those running backs involved a lot in the receiving game. A lot of stuff happens around the line of scrimmage. So it forces defenses to creep up a little bit. They're always anticipating having to run up, make those tackles, which ultimately helps your out and ups, your double moves, all those route concepts that have to do with going downfield, especially when it comes to those seams from Travis Kelce, those delayed seam routes. And they do a lot of really great things to help their offense expose vulnerabilities downfield. And a lot of that has to do with setting things up for early in the game for the latter portions of the game. This is what like Kayvon Thibodeau said. He's like, I want to be a beast in the fourth quarter. I set up my pass rush moves in the first couple quarters, and then the fourth quarter comes around. That's when it all comes together, right? That's what the Chiefs do ultimately. With their offense, they do a lot of things that set them up for success down the road. And it really is a strategy that takes years to perfect. And Mahomes has done a great job doing that. And now the Giants are trying to understand some of these concepts. But I'm interested because he's really focusing on helping the quarterbacks, right? He's not like he's talking to Wan'Dale Robinson about how can you be the next Tyreek Hill. He's talking to Davis Webb. Davis Webb's our QB3, maybe even a QB4 if you wanted to go that far. He's essentially an extension of the coaching staff. And if you didn't know this, Davis Webb turned down a coaching job with the Buffalo Bills to continue his playing career with the Giants, coming back full circle with the Giants, following Brian Dable over here and Shea Tierney. Really interesting how he made that full circle all the way back to the Giants, and he's basically an extension of this coaching staff instead of taking, and it's honestly, it probably is for the best for him, right? He's getting paid like a player to basically be a coach. So he's getting the salary of a player, the benefits that come along with that, and he doesn't have to give up the status, and he can still make that player money. So I think financially, pretty damn smart decision by Davis Webb. But, Mike Kafka going and having Patrick Mahomes FaceTime Davis Webb, why not just help Daniel Jones, right? Why not FaceTime Daniel Jones? Why is it Davis Webb that's the one getting all this information? I find that kind of interesting. Maybe Davis Webb's a lot better at digesting information than teaching it to Daniel Jones, because that's one of the things that Davis Webb is renowned for, his ability to digest information. He's an extremely smart guy. There's a reason that Buffalo wanted him as a coach, not even a player. They wanted him as a coach. So I wonder if Kafka's like, hey, we want we want Davis Webb to be gathering all this information because eventually maybe we want him to turn him into an assistant coach next year. Maybe that's the plan. We want him in those coaching conversations and those coaching meetings because we want him to be the coach in the future. What do you think about that concept? Do you think that's why they want Davis Webb involved in that kind of portion of the strategy?
I think that's super interesting, and I do think there's probably a chance of that being true. Davis Webb kind of already taking some consideration into the coaching avenue and kind of just joining the Giants in this quarterback room where he doesn't really have a chance to play. Like, he's never going to see the field unless something catastrophic happens and we lose our first and second string quarterbacks. But that's not expected to happen. So you're kind of expecting Davis Webb to sit on the backup role or maybe just move into a coaching role and just kind of be a mentor to these guys and just try to help them. Smart guy, knows how to retain the information. But maybe he's just not as physically gifted as everybody else, so he's not going to turn into a starting quarterback one day, and that's totally fine. But there's an avenue where he becomes a coach, and I could see that happening with the New York Giants. Of course, as you mentioned, the Bills have already considered giving him a coaching job. But I think another thing to take note of, though, is that Patrick Mahomes is not just speaking to Davis Webb. He's speaking to Davis Webb, calling him because he already has his number because they know each other back from Texas Tech. But they're calling on these FaceTime calls from Jordan Rannon. He says that quarterback Davis Webb revealed that he has FaceTime Mahomes a couple times with Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor to go over concepts of some different plays that have been run in KC. So it's like a group FaceTime, basically. They're kind of all just sitting there holding the phone together like they're taking a selfie and looking at Patrick Mahomes as he coaches them into the Kansas City offense. So I think that's kind of really cool that Davis Webb has that connection with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, everything in life is about connections, networking, all that stuff, super important. And Davis Webb just going ahead, doing something that he doesn't have to do, and Mahomes also doing something that he doesn't have to do, just using the connection that those two have to get some coaching from the best quarterback in the NFL along to Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. I think that's really, really cool stuff from not only Patrick Mahomes, but also Davis Webb for setting that up, calling a guy that he knew years ago in college and just being like, hey, we have this connection now with Mike Kafka, but you're also the best quarterback in the league. Can you please help these guys? I want to see them be successful. So I love Davis Webb for that. I think that's really awesome. And Mahomes, again, really cool stuff that he's doing. He doesn't have to be doing this, but the more success that Mike Kafka has, the more success that Patrick Mahomes has, and of course, the more success that the New York Giants have. So hopefully all of this leads to a decent average, like you mentioned earlier, or maybe even a stellar season for Daniel Jones and company.
The word stellar just like cannot be associated with this team just yet, but we're hopefully getting there. Progress is in the making. It starts with stealing stuff from Patrick Mahomes, and I think that that's a great way to try and get the quarterbacks used to a system that seems to be a blend of the West Coast KC style and a spread offense that the Buffalo Bills deployed last year. So it could be a really interesting scheme, honestly. Like, both schemes are elite in their own ways, but mashing them up into its own beast could be pretty cool to see. I'm really excited to see how this system changes in the concepts and all the stuff that changes. I mean, Daniel Jones going into his third, fourth offensive coordinator definitely doesn't help the verbiage changing like every season. The guy's brain is probably a mashed potato at this point, but I think when it comes to the potential of what this could become, Jones has to be like, this is my best chance to become the best version of myself, right? Like, he's got to see this as like, I've never had a better opportunity to become a good quarterback than right now with guys who developed two of the best quarterbacks in football, and Mahomes and Josh Allen. So hoping for the best, expecting the worst, because we are Giants fans at the end of the day, expecting the worst, hoping for the best. And that's all we can really do, guys. But I'd love to hear your opinions below on this weird situation that Patrick Mahomes has found himself in, helping Davis Webb, former Texas Tech teammate, and Mike Kafka from the Kansas City Chiefs. So really interesting kind of chemistry going on there. And curious to hear your thoughts because, I'm definitely interested. It's a really weird scenario. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe below as always, my friends. And we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode.